folks, Bubba here. Welcome back to Three's In. So it's kind of rainy and dreary here in Midwest Ohio, in Anna, Ohio this morning. So I got a couple things that come to mind I want to share with you. The first is a subject of flight jackets. I began wearing flight jackets as a normal part of my uniform, in the early 70s, right after we got to pilot training when we were first issued them. We didn't really wear those things until the fall when it got cold, but anyway, they were these nylon flight jackets. I just happened to keep one. These nylon jackets, and boy, were they nice. This one still is really nice. All of this over the years has shrunk. It doesn't fit me quite as well as it did when I was on active duty. Go figure. At any rate, when I got to Vance, we would wear these, and it was so cold at Vance in the wintertime because of that wind in Oklahoma. That wind was so strong, and it could be so cold. And then, if I remember, I'll tell you a story about that here at the end of this presentation. Okay, so when we wore our flight jackets there, when it got to be real cold, we would wear a quilted liner with them. And the quilted liner kind of came out from the bottom of it a little bit. It kind of looked a little tacky, but boy, was it warm. And it was nice. And it afforded flexibility that you could move in the cockpit, where if you wore the winter nylon jacket, it was bulky, and it was really a struggle to move inside the cockpit. So I walked away with this one. And then here a few years ago, I decided to kind of add some sex and violence to it, starting with the left sleeve. I hung my flight patch that I was affiliated with for the better part of my tour at Vance. I was in O-Flight. And then coming around, I put my name, of course, and then I put senior pilot wings on, because that period that I was a senior pilot was when I was really engaged in flying almost every other day, if not every day. And boy, did I have a lot of fun in those days. And I had responsibilities of command as a flight commander and so forth, but there wasn't that much pressure. And it was like being a kid flying jets. Then on the other side here is the patch that we had when I went through pilot training myself. That was it had 35/17, and I can't remember all the other numbers, but you get the idea. And then on my right shoulder was the patch of the 560, the Flying Training Squadron. So this kind of represents a cross-section of my experience in the training command. And boy, these things were really comfortable, and damn, I looked good in them. Then, right before I retired, the Air Force was hemorrhaging pilots. We were losing guys right and left. As soon as they became eligible for separation, they did. So some shoe clerk up at headquarters, up at probably the Pentagon, decided, you know what these pilots really would like are leather jackets. So what we're going to do is we're going to give them leather jackets. You got to be kidding me. So they came out with this leather jacket that I thought it sucked canal water. Now, I had a Navy leather jacket that I picked up along the way, and it was a beauty. It was the one that has the fur collar on it and the pleats. And when you wear a Navy leather jacket, also it had a stencil on the inside, really kind of neat in a lot of respects. It said U.S. Navy on it. I didn't care. It was nice and warm, and I looked good in that jacket too. Anyway, so I had that for a while. Well, then the Air Force came out with their version that had a regular collar instead of the fur collar, no pleats. And they tended to run short. They tended to run a little bit short. They'd ride up on you. So the Air Force passed and said, we're going to really keep some quality guys with these leather jackets. Yeah, right. Okay. So they decided how to have a meeting, I guess, to decide how are we going to hand out these leather jackets? Because they were kind of just dribbling in for a while. Well, they decided to create a list and give the leather jackets out by seniority. The one who had been on the base the most got the first leather jacket. So I get this leather jacket, and they make a big deal out of it. And then they told me you can't fly in it because it's not fireproof. Give me a break. So it kind of reminded me of a cricket match where you go up to bat and you take off your jumper, which is Australian for sweater. You hand it to the umpire. He holds your jumper while you're batting, and then when you get done batting, he hands your jumper back to you, put it on, and you go out in the field. Well, I could just see me walking up to Chris Bilbrey, handing him my leather jacket, climbing up in the airplane, going off the fly, coming back, and then getting out of the airplane, and Chris hands my jacket. That wasn't going to happen. Morons. I would show you my leather jacket, but I don't have it. I gave it to my granddaughter. At any rate, also about that time, we had a mix of nylon, but we were really getting into Nomex jackets, and they were pretty nice. They actually felt good, and they were comfortable. So when I left the Air Force, I can't tell you why. I don't know what happened to my Nomex jacket, but I didn't have it. However, I had an opportunity to attend a friend of mine's retirement here a few years ago. And as we were talking, the subject of jackets and so forth came up. And I mentioned to him that I somehow walked off without my Nomex jacket. I have no idea where it is or where it went. So when I showed up down in Mississippi, Columbus, he presented me with a Nomex jacket. So again, I took the jacket and added a little bit of sex and violence to that. I have my River Rats patch on, and then here I have my class patch from pilot training. We were 71G, my name tag, and that's Quiet Bird's name tag. And over on the other side, I put the 430th patch. That was the F-111A patch. I was assigned to the 430th when I was brand new in the Air Force as a munitions officer. And I loved being a munitions officer in that squadron. That was such a ball. And then on the right side, I have the PIT patch, pilot instructor training, and then a coveted 3,000 hour patch in T-38s. So I put this jacket on and headed up to my meeting, and it was cold that night. So as I'm walking into the meeting, I went to put my hands in my pockets, and you can't do that. Now, things started to click. That nylon jacket was very comfortable, and you could put your hands in your pockets and walk all around. But there was some uniform Nazi that decided, okay, they want pockets on these things. We'll put pockets on them, but we're going to fix them to where you can't hardly put them. I mean, you got to put your arm back. You look like a damn chicken. You got to put them way back and then slide them into your pocket. It's just uncomfortable as crap. And I thought, you got to be kidding me. Somebody at the Nomex jacket factory needs to be canned and have them retry it again. Don't get me wrong. As long as you don't try to put your hands in your pockets, it's a nice jacket. But once you try to put your hands in there, you could get hurt trying to put your hands in that jacket. I guess that was the whole point. And I've got another video, if you search for it, I can't remember the name of it, about J.P. Ralston had a cure for guys that he saw with hands in their pockets. He took their jackets over to the parachute shop and had the parachute shop sew them shut. What a legend in his own mind. If I find the video, I'll put a reference in the comments section. Okay, as mentioned, let's get back to Oklahoma. I'll tie this up before I go too far on and on this morning. So, in November 1978, I got assigned to Randolph again. So I go down to Randolph, and I've been there a couple, 3 weeks or something. And this guy says to me, you just came down from Oklahoma, didn't you? And I said, why, yes, I did. how'd you know that? He said, well, he said, I noticed when you walked out of the building, you had a natural lean to the west, like you were anticipating leaning into the wind. I said, huh? And he said, yeah, you just kind of leaned into the wind. And I said, shit. And he said, and that's the second giveaway that you came down from Oklahoma. And I said, what's that? He said, anytime you talk to an Okie, you'll tell them something or you'll ask them something. The first thing out of their mouth is, huh? And the next time you repeat it, they go, shit. Well, I'll be darned. That's what happened to me. Huh? Shit. Pay attention. It happens. At any rate, thanks for indulging me this morning. Good to see everybody. Bobo, base gear. Stop.